Hello, my name is Andy. I'm with Simplex. Today we're going to be talking about how to replace one of our electrical contactors. Some tools we're going to need to do this are a large flat screwdriver. We're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a 1/4 inch nut driver, and a needle nose pliers. So we're going to start with taking our large flat screwdriver and loosening up our lug screws. Once all the screws are loose, we can just pull the wire out. Now we need to make sure they all have labels on them so they get back into the same spot when you reinstall your new contactor. Just fold them back for now. Next we're going to take our Phillips screwdriver. We need to remove the coil wires. Two of these are a push-on female connector, and one of them is a fork connector with a screw terminal. So I'm going to loosen the screw just like that, and then I'm going to take my pliers, grab the connector, wiggle them off, just like that. Last thing we have to do is remove the contactor mounting screws. Slide it back and up. And there we have it, removing your contactor. Once we have our contactor removed, we can identify what type of replacement we'll need. Here we can see that it's a 50 FLA, it's full load amps, and a 65 amp resistance per pole. This is a 3-phase contactor, and it also has a 120 volt AC coil. We need to match all these things when finding a replacement contactor. Next thing we can do is remove the cover. Once those screws are out, we're going to pull straight up. Since this is a nice new contactor, we can see that everything is clean on the inside. We have no pitting from the top contact to the bottom contact. We can see that all 3 phases have a nice even connection when pressing down on the plunger. Our contactor doesn't stick, and it has a nice strong spring when pressing it down. Let's take a look at a bad contactor. Here we are. I've already taken out the screws. I'll pull up on it. Now here we can see on B phase that there's a pitting right on the right side there. It's not what we'd like to see. That means that there was probably an arc in here when the contactor was trying to close. And there's pitting on phase A too. And the contact itself is loose. Alright, once we have a replacement contactor, we're ready to install it back into our load bank or fuel system. Now, as you can see by these other ones here, our coil contacts are going to be facing to my right. We're going to set it in there. We're going to take our 2 mounting screws and get them started. Once all the screws are started, we can line up the contactor where we want it to sit, nice and straight with the rest of them, and go through and tighten down. And the one over on this side. Nice and tight. Next thing we're going to do is reconnect our coil wires. I'm going to take my needle nose pliers to grab the connector and push it on to the connector. Now, one of my coil contacts is not a push-on connector, it's a fork connector. So we're going to have to screw that on. I'll take my Phillips screwdriver, tighten it down. There we go. Next we're going to reconnect all of our load wires. Now we want to make sure we get all the strands in each of the terminals. So I'm just going to give everything a nice turn, make sure there's no strands falling off, and that none of them are cut. Now we're just going to do one at a time. Push it in. Try and get the insulation right up to the screw and tighten it down. It's important to watch out that you don't get any insulation under the terminal screw. Next, we're going to go back and torque everything. Now, if you have a torque wrench, you can see here the lugs are going to be tightened at 50 inch-pounds. Give everything a nice final tug, make sure nothing pulls out. And there we have it, replace our contactor. We're ready to reinstall the covers and run our equipment.